Hello everyone, and welcome to The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Proto. This is a ROM hack by, I'm guessing you pronounce that Seth? Anyway, the idea of this is a couple years back, a bunch of pre-release development assets from Nintendo found their way onto the internet, and Seth basically took a bunch of those, mixed them into a ROM hack of A Link to the Past as sort of a reconceptualization of what the game might have looked like if development had gone a different direction. This is not an actual prototype, this is not representative of any specific stage in development, but we'll be seeing things that are not in the final game that were considered, at least at some point along the way. I'll just let this go through the opening scroll first. So far, basically the same. The wording might be a bit different. The seal should have remained for all time. But when these events were obscured by the mists of time and became legend, notice already the map looks kind of different. At least you'll notice if you're familiar with the final game. The throne room looks a little sparser there. King looks like he has a sword stabbed into him. I don't remember that being part of the usual graphic. A mysterious wizard named Akin eliminated the good king of Hyrule. The tile sets are different, the chests are different, the guards look different. So we're seeing some development graphics along the way already. Through evil magic. I don't think the final game says that. I don't think Nintendo liked you saying the word evil. I'd have to check. To be honest, it's been a while since I viewed the original opening. And the time of destiny for Princess Zelda is drawing near. Pretty sure that's the same text, it sounds familiar anyway. So yeah, let's get started. Right, you need to wait for this to go through a little more of the intro scroll. I've gotten a little too used to randomizer, let you shortcut that a bit. Anyway, I started this up just enough to make sure it runs and that everything goes okay, it patched properly. Named our character Plink for Proto Link. You'll see the graphics are somewhat different. It's still recognizable as a pointy-eared Hylian with a greenish outfit. So we're starting off in Plink's house. Some of the graphics look different. The rupee graphic looks different up in the HUD. The arrows look kind of hookshotty. I don't remember the life having the pluses next to it. I think they were like dashes. Magic meter looks different. Anyway, prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda. The wizard, Aghanim, has done something to the other missing girls. Yeah, that is censorship that's present in the final version. As I recall, the Japanese text says explicitly they were sacrificed. Anyway, in the dungeon of the castle, please help me. You aren't close going out for a while, telling you not to leave the house. This should all look familiar. We have a good old elven character. Looks a bit different. Doesn't quite look Linkish. The pots look different. The chest looks different. There's our lamp. This probably has the same thing as the final game, where if you don't get in that chest, it will show up in one of several others. But better to make sure we have it now. So this definitely looks different. Check the map. The general layout of the world map looks pretty much the same. We have the lake in the southeast, Eastern Palace area to the east. Northeast looks rather different. We have the source of the river, and that looks like Sanctuary further east, maybe? Tower of Harem, the mountains look more or less the same. Northwest, we still have the woods, but the area around the woods look a little different. Kakarika Village looks sparser in the west. Desert looks more or less the same in the southwest, and then the swampy area to the south. Bushes definitely look different, but you can pick up, throw them around, and maybe get money as usual. You have the guards guarding the way out to other areas. Trees, not the trees I'm used to. We have fencing around this area. We have more guards blocking the path. The path itself looks a little different. I think I remember it being more blended into the grass. We have a guard walking around outside. One of the actually potentially dangerous ones. They're not really aggressive, but they will hurt you if you run into them. Bridge definitely looks different. You have these little pillars here that don't look like anything. And I guess this is the castle. Does not look anything like Hyrule Castle as I'm familiar with it. There's no side passage to fall in, there's no wall around it, there's just the moat and the bridge. And one entrance. Our uncle is just lying here in the, what would you call this? Not the foyer. Anyway. And you can just walk on him. Can't normally do that because he's up against the wall in the secret passage. So I'm guessing the castle layout's going to be more or less the same, so the fastest way is normally to come to the left here. Although, let's check the balcony. Yeah, we just have a little balcony here with the barrier that we need the Master Sword to cut through. And no door on the other side, so kind of wondering if that goes somewhere else or if there just isn't a door there on the inside. Come to think of it, the lamp graphic looks slightly different also. I remember it being more square. Suits of armor look a lot different. And the final, they look more like gray statues. Here, they're actually like metallic colored armor. I didn't quite get the quick go on that. Map. Map looks pretty much the same. Let's go on with the escape sequence. This is sparser, less fleshed out. Railings everywhere, so you can't fall in the hole. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do with this is I am intending on playing through the entire game, if I can manage it. Difficulty is likely to be higher than the original, but probably not nearly as bad as, say, Parallel Worlds, which is kind of infamous. It's too far from the middle. Yep, there's a boomerang. Boomerang graphic looks identical. Unless I'm badly misremembering. Locked doors aren't actually showing locks, they're just doors. So, but anyway, I'm planning to go through this, however many sessions it takes. I'm allocating about 90 minutes or so, or until I feel like stopping or come to a good stopping point. Let's see if this goes the same as usual. There'll be the ball and chain guard there. Bonk him with a pot. You can actually see his face. Yeah, and there's a little blind spot in the flare where if you get fairly close to him when you're attacking northward, you just can't hit you. Wizard magically controlling wizards. Wizard is an inhuman fiend. That looks pretty much the same. Yeah, that would be one of the lamp chests. But since we already have the lamp, it's just 5 rupees. I'll go up the right side. Most players don't normally go this way, at least in speedrunning things, because it's just a little slower. Anyway, we're in the dungeons. This room, other than the graphics, is identical. Or very close to. I think this part's a little smaller in the final. These rooms are missing a lot of decorations, and also there is railing everywhere. Which in one way makes it safer, and in another way it makes it more dangerous because you can't knock the guards off. Also, you can't use hovering to glitch out of where you're supposed to be. Of course, you'd need the boots for hovering in the first place, but once you get them, you can't hover off the edge of the area because there's wall in the way. Or, yeah, railing. Man, yeah, there's just no door here. Nice. Yep, Sanctuary. Yeah, your spin attack is a very nice thing to have. Not only does it do uh, ongoing damage in the area, it also hits a large area and has a high priority. So basically anything in range of that is getting... Oh, the king's still here. That's interesting. Yeah, this... The palettes don't quite match up here. This looks very out of place. It's kind of darker and more saturated than the surrounding wall. Anyway, as I was saying... Let's put some light on. Yeah, your spin attack has a very high priority. It hits a wide area. You're more or less can't be hurt while you're using it as long as something that wouldn't hurt you regardless is there. Yeah, if you're in a situation where it's between you getting hurt or an enemy getting hurt, the enemy is getting the damage. Try and kill these for money. Assuming the drop tables aren't changed. Let's see, this should be with a room full of snakes now. Yep. But yeah, spin attack is not only extra damage, it's a wide area, high priority. It can be as much a defensive as an offensive maneuver. Let's see, Dark Cross Chest is still here with the key. Nothing on the other side? A bit of magic. Can't hurt. The locked door as usual. And we're into the sewers. Alright, no quick stop. Again, that's another thing I'm kind of spoiled on from Randomizer. Just being able to use R and L to swap items. Yep. Rats drop money. Yep, we're pretty good at magic. Let's see, this should be the one with the key. Yep, they didn't change that. And, this is interesting. Normally there'd be a cracked wall to the left there with some chests behind it that we can't get to just yet because no bombs, no boots. But it looks like that's been removed. Okay, just didn't stab it long enough to get the noise. The block puzzle, if you want to call it that, is the same. That just ensures you can't get back in that way. Of course, the whole point of that is to keep you from getting to the cracked walls after you have bombs or boots, until you also have the gloves to get in through the graveyard. So I'm not sure why it would be left like that in this version, where there doesn't seem to be anything down there anyway. Anyway, this should bring us to Sanctuary, which looks a lot plainer. It's partly the palette, but I think I remember it being a little fancier in the final. The text looks the same. Mighty Evil Force. You need the Master Sword. Is this still Sankart? No, it's a heart piece. Interesting. Yeah, I think I remember the Reebie mentioning there are fewer heart containers available in this version. Oh, and there's the unused Sanctuary exit graphic. Yeah, this graphic is actually in the final game, they just don't use it. Well, actually, I don't think that's quite true, use it, either. As I recall, it's there in the game, but it's on the wrong layer, so it's covered up by the ordinary door graphic. So this looks different. We have blue guards outside, so a little more difficult. You push the gravestones? Looks like not. I'm going to try them all anyway. And yeah, we're further over to the east where I thought looked like Sanctuary on the map. It's a definite difference there. Let's try going east first. Really nothing here. The stun prize is still a single rupee. So you can see the source of the river there, but can't do anything from here. Alright, so let's head to the village first. Normal playthrough, if you're going for speed, you would go straight to the Easter Palace. Is that a fairy? It's behaving like one. Yeah, that's a fairy. That does not look anything like final version fairies. Is that the... Yeah, there's the shortcut whirlpool already. What's in here? This is Graveyard Ledge. With 3 bombs. And instead of a heart piece, we have 2 treasures. Money and a heart piece. So that's an interesting change. We have an easy source of bombs here. So I'm going to stock up a bit. Yes, in the final game, or the actual game more properly, this is Graveyard Ledge, which you'd normally have to get through by mirroring from the Dark World, so it wouldn't be available until much later into the game. Spirit Guards still throw spears. And we're slowly making our way towards the village. See if there are any tree pools along the way. Yeah, so this is just a filler screen. That's interesting. It looks like a hint tile, but it's not. And it's not interactive either. At least not with anything I have. I could try Bombs and Lamp, but I doubt either one will do anything. Yep, nothing. And there's another one on the other side. Curious. Yeah, I have no idea what those are. We're getting closer to the village. There's the X on the map. These trees are really weird looking. It feels like something that's intended for the Dark World. Okay. Did that guy just despawn himself? He's suddenly back. Weirdness? Okay, we have village music. We are on the outskirts of Kakariko. Let's check in the woods first. If you're playing rando, at least you'd normally come into the woods anyway. There's a free bomb. Probably even if you're playing, oh, here's the smith. But yeah, probably even if you're just playing normally because there's a heart piece or two. Yeah, Smith is partway into the woods. That's interesting. I guess there's no buildings to the east of the village, so that makes as much sense as anything. That doesn't quite look like you should be able to pass through it, but it worked. Ah, the mushroom is dancing. I don't think it does that in the final. This has a rock in the way. There's a bush crab. Just a little extra money. So there is an entrance to the forest there, but you can't really do anything with it. Interesting. Get back to the village. Both paths go to the same place. Is that someone hiding there? Oh, that's the kid that runs away, except it looks more like one of the lumberjacks. Let's get our bottle. Wait, you can just catch fairies directly? That's interesting. Bugnet comes free with bottle. It's one of those stacks of rocks you need the boots for. Okay, let's try this side of the woods. That's probably the Dark World access there on the right. Need the hammer peg. That pegs to hammer and the rock to lift. Of course, that's assuming there is a Dark World on this, but I would think there would be. So although it's using prototype assets, it is still, at base, a modification of the actual complete game. I faked out the thief to get to the mushroom. Do they just chase you forever? I guess so. Normally they're in confined enough spaces that that doesn't really become an issue. These birds look different, and they're also tougher. These look interesting. Okay. You could just walk right into that tree. There's statues that kind of look like Link. There's the Master Sword pedestal with some text. You can't do anything with it without the pendants, presumably. Yeah. And this whole setup here is reminding me of the Sword Grove in Breath of the Wild. Maybe try White Princess also. It's been a while since I played that. Yeah, I was trying to do something a little tricky. Yeah, you can still do that. I mean, why wouldn't you be able to? It's still the same game at base. That's neat looking. Is that one of the informants still? Yep. I heard a guard. There he is. Tougher than usual. That's interesting. And Boomerang can't go through that. So we'll need to come back here with a hammer later. Some arrows. So I think that's the chicken hut chest that would have the boomerang if we didn't get the boomerang from the castle. Anyway, this will give us a bit of legend. So this is the Elder's house. Or one side of it, anyway. Bit of war, nothing else. There's the overgrown house. There's the second bottle. So that's the chest from the back of the tavern. Does the tavern even exist, though? There's the library with the Book of Medora, which you can't get without the boots. There's another house to the southwest. Possibly race game or the equivalent. I guess this is the well? This is the well. Free bombs. One more heart piece, like it was 4 hearts. Yeah, I think these are all rupees in the unmodified game. And I'm used enough to randomizer that I can't actually remember what a lot of the non-required chests have. There's really a lot of these things most players don't pick up unless they're exploring everything or playing a randomizer where anything could be anywhere. Okay, that's just another way south. Got some chickens. This guy looks a little different, but he's the kid that tells us where the elder is. This is wet. Not sure why you're sweeping water, but okay. Alright, let's head south. That's probably race game or something equivalent to it. Another rock we can't pick up. No, that's the fortune tower. Yeah. Okay, so maybe there is no equivalent to race game, but then where is the 4th heart piece? Or is there just not one available yet? There's not much here. Okay, this takes us back to the village. Let's check what's over to the east before continuing south. There was another field over here. Oh no, that's where he came in. But down to the south of the trees. Okay, that's just connector there. Yeah, there's a lot of nothing on this overworld. Which I suppose is what happens when you base it on an incomplete in-development map. Yeah, again, spin tech, surprisingly good range. Guess the flute kid's here? This is not what I was expecting. Yeah, no idea what's going on there. There's some heavy rocks. They seem inconsequential. And this should take us back to Link's house. It also looks like it is possible to get outside the fence in some areas somehow, but yeah, this is not a familiar sprite, although he does seem to have the cane of Samaria. Is there any place I can go south? Yes. Yeah, must have hit him with the held out sword instead of the spin attack. Looks like K45 is still here. Just a matter of getting here from the Dark World. There's another cave with, or little pond with those strange things next to it. And this looks like the flood control dam area, but there's no way further in. So just a heart piece here. That does get us up to 4 heart containers. That definitely looks like a warp tile, but you need the hammer for it. And it's just sitting out in the open, not even under a rock. You can't jump off that. Here. Yeah, overall, this overworld is feeling more inconvenient than the final game. Of course, again, this is not an actual prototype. This is just someone's conceptualization of how things might have fit together. That's interesting. I'd usually solid bushes. Yeah, let's keep going along the south shore. Watch out for crabs. Unless it's been notified, they do 2 hearts of damage when you're on green mail. Okay, I was expecting mini Molder Cape around here, but looks like it's just the west shore of the lake. Maybe further along, maybe it's just not here. Yeah, enemies seem to keep despawning themselves. That was different. I kind of like it. Yeah, and fake flippers will not work because this is not based on the Japanese ROM. Yeah, just no sign of Mini Waldorf Cave. Although it could be up here. Cave entrances look pretty neat, though. Let's see, this would normally be a fairy fountain on the one side with a good bee if you bash into the statue. Yep, the bottle is just bottle just has a free bug net included. So that'll be a nice safety. Yeah, that would normally be the ice rod. Let's see if it still is. Yeah, there's the ice rod. Looks like the same graphic. Let's see what a save and quit does. Besides, make sure progress is saved. was exploring more in the southern areas anyway, so Link's house is a good place to start. Okay, so I poked around by the lake, so let's continue going over towards... Huh, there's a house there. That might be the witch's hut, because it doesn't look like there's one to the north. Was there anything you could get to from here, or is it just the castle? No, it looks like this was just going to the castle, so... no use going that way. Yeah, this is just more of this area. I think I was already here. Maybe not. No, this is the northern shore of the lake now. Hey, Kailia. The island's still there. Can't tell if there's anything on it. Yep, not able to get close enough. Okay, that's something. Keeps you from swimming down or up the river. There's a bridge. This would normally be a field of Octoroks around here. Ah, here it is. Okay, so to the left would normally connect to the castle, but not in this version. And I don't know how much money I'm going to need, so it couldn't hurt to get as much as I can. Alright. So this is around where what I think was going to be the witch's hut was. You can also go along the north shore of the lake here. It's not that much different from the actual game, because there is the dock you can get up there. Huh, what happened to you? Get stung by a bee? Yeah, that's just a fairy hut. The witch's hut looks neat anyway. Okay, that did not count as leaving the screen for purposes of making that appear. Yeah, pretty much any time in the game where they tell you come back later, you just have to leave the screen and do an overworld screen transition. And I could afford some blue medicine, but should probably save my money for now. Wait, I do like the design of this. Anyway, this should be the Eastern Palace environs. Looks a bit different, but fairly recognizable. There's the Armos. Those also look a bit different. And this is looking a bit more like a maze. Yeah, no sign of the Sahasrara's hut, but the X seems to be in the wall here. So perhaps this is just it. Yep. Okay, this looks the same as usual. Yeah, should have seen that coming. Yep, and no easy access to Eastern Palace from Sahasra's. Probably up here. Yeah, the armors are placed more dangerously because you can't just squeeze between them without waking them up. Okay, how do I get over there? Can't really tell from the map. Ah, the pendant symbols are different. And I don't remember the sword looking like that, or maybe even being marked. Can't remember. I am pretty sure that he does not mark the other pendants until you get the first one. Normally. This should be the entrance. There's a nice Triforce symbol on the ground. Okay. Some of those are fake, some of them are real. And apparently that's just to get out. Interesting, this looks the same. Well, the tile set's slightly different, but the layout looks the same so far. There's the money chest. Yeah, I'll proceed with the assumption that the layout is basically the same until proven otherwise. That statue looks different. This should be the... I think this is the map chest. Yep. Yeah, that looks basically the same, as far as I remember. Come to think of it, I don't really check the map that often. There's no real need to once you're familiar with the layout. Right, let's see if the same trick as usual works here. And it does indeed. And I threw that diagonally by accident. There's the compass. As expected. Armos Knights in the same place as usual. Of course, that's assuming this is the Armos Knights. But especially with the hint being the same, I would think so. The big key door has a lock on it. So the overworld has been a lot different. So far, the dungeons have been largely the same. And the big key should be over here. I'll do the room legitimately. The way you're supposed to instead of damage boosting to get to the pot. Yeah, those fly off, and then you try to dodge them. There's the big key. Again, the big key door has a visible padlock on it. Big chest ought to be the bow. The arrow sprite looks a little different. Big chest definitely looks different. These, the best thing you can do is avoid them. See if the fairies are here? The fairies are here. And since I have another empty bottle... See, the warp tiles did not seem to be animating, though. And the destination ones are the same shape and... well, they never animate, but... Let's see if these rupees are still here, and if so, grab them. Because again, I don't know how much money I'm going to need. It seems likely flippers will still be 500. But you don't actually need them until you're ready to go to Swamp Palace. Yeah, I always manage to get hit there. That's not even changed. This room's a bit different. Less room to maneuver. This is completely unchanged. There we go. And for our most knights, they look a bit different. Let's see if they behave in... oh yeah, they do. That's this behavior. Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw this mentioned on the cutting room floor and seen video of it where they just kind of mob you instead of behaving in an orderly fashion. And bounce off of each other, which makes them all sorts of chaotic. Last one's still trying to crush you, though, which makes it easy. And there's our first pendant, which will hopefully let us get the boots from Sahasrara, which will make getting around faster and open up some new stuff. And we're up to 5 hearts. You can't just jump off to the side there. Try to get some few arrows back. No, no drop. This may not have been a good idea. Let's see what's down here. This normally is where the most convenient warp to the Palace of Darkness is. And it's still there. And I think this was a fairy house. Little fairy fountain. Might as well refill the bottle. That's one dungeon clear. I'm going to see if I can finish out Desert. That's assuming I can find my way back to Sahasrara. Do armors not drop arrows, or am I just getting unlucky? Looks like the unlucky. I think Saha was up here. Yeah, there we go, there's our arrows. And the cave. Which still looks like a house on the inside. No, it didn't. It looks like a cave. But it's the same layout. Just the tile set changed. And there's our boots. Excellent. Yeah, I already got it. Dash turn still works. And is it just me, or our heart piece is making a different noise? I noticed it earlier, but I didn't mention it because it could have been just a bit of glitching, as has been known to happen. Especially when other noises are playing, but... no, that seems purely intentional at this point. Let's head north and see if there's anything you can reach there, but probably not. Normally you would need the power gloves to get much of anywhere. There's a cave. Okay, that's a fairy fountain. Nice that it's there, but it doesn't do anything useful at the moment. Yeah, you can go up and down stairs slightly faster by kind of wiggling the diagonals. Yep, that's blocked. So that will presumably go up to the Zora area, where you can get your flippers. This is another fairy. Yeah, that just heads back to the sanctuary. That's interesting. Is that the castle? Alright, so back to the village, get the book, head to the desert. Yep, that doesn't do anything. Okay, library was here. And we have our literacy. I think there was a stack of blocks over here somewhere. Yep, nothing there. I think I also remember seeing one near Link's house, but it was on the wrong side of the fence. Actually. This probably won't work. But let's give it a shot. Yep. No reaction. Yeah, can you get to those? Not from here. Possibly not at all. And can I get back up there from here, or do I need to go around? Looks like I need to go around. That was inconvenient. Could be worse, but still inconvenient. Yeah, that's definitely looking like Cave 45 and having to get there from the Dark World. This looks largely the same, although the fairy cave is missing. Is that a vulture? Huh. There's this weird shape here, largely unchanged. Although the tile set is different, so it looks a bit odder. But still, basically the same thing. No, that's just a wall. So nothing here at all, apparently. Except hints. And the readme did say there were fewer, I think 16 total heart containers, so there will be fewer pieces of heart. Wait, that looks neat. There's that. Yeah, nothing up there either. Yeah, these look neat. That does not. Looks like he's screaming at the top of his lungs. Not a good look. Anyway, once again, we'll assume until otherwise... These look neat. Assume until otherwise indicated that the dungeon layout is the same. Well, that's different already. You can keep going left there. And this isn't blocked off. But those are minor changes. Threw it too soon. Yep, the map is just the map. That's to be expected. But I have to check just in case. No hint tile here. I don't even remember what the hint said anyway, so... Yeah, this is different. But not much different. It's still the big key here. And it's not letting me pick up the pots, probably because there are too many sprites on the screen. Yeah, so this is just open. And this is probably just the compass and nothing else here. So we have some minor changes, but so far it's basically just Desert Palace. Mildly remixed. Right, should have expected that. The button's even in the same place. How to think of it, I haven't seen the cave up to the mountain. I'm guessing it's behind the rock in the Lost Woods. Let's see, this is... Yep, still a fairy room. And that does not survive a screen transition. Good to know. Ooh, that's neat. Can't get back in there. And of course, the right side exit is just drop straight down. So with this modification of the game, if you want to get into Desert Palace, you have to use the main entrance, except maybe if you mirror in exactly the right spot. Key dashing still works. That's where if you're lined up an exact multiple of 4 pixels from the door, you can just dash straight through it. And the easiest way to do that is to line yourself up against the wall. He's still there. And there. Yep, same room as always. Alright, let's try Ice Rod strats on Moldorm. Or, yeah, Lamo. It's not as easy to use as the Fire Rod, but it's pretty effective. And I'm out of shots. It seems to take longer for the dirt pile to appear. Still, basically the same boss as ever. Unlike the Chaos that were the Armosh Knights. Alright, we have 2 pendants and the power gloves. Doesn't look like Checkerboard Cave exists. Bombos Tablet is there, though. That's still a cave. Rupee Cave? Rupee Cave. Come to think of it, are those white pixels on the top of the bow normally there? I don't remember those. Bob looks a little more three-dimensional than usual, also, with the shading. That's just nothing. Alright, so check out the Lost Woods. Past the boulder. I think that's where the mountain access is going to be. Yeah, but for that cave you need the hammer. That's probably where Magic Bat is. Right, and that was the entrance behind the smiths. Right, there is... Yeah, that looks like a dragon skull up there. And I'm guessing that's the lumberjack up to the north? Okay, so this takes us out of the woods into, yeah, something different. That does not look like anything I've seen before. That looks like something you jump into. Same sign as always, but it strikes a little differently when you've got a skeletal dragon maw. Anyway, the cave looks the same so far. There's the old man. Who does not know how to stop talking. And he slows you down a bit just by following you. Even if you try dashing, you don't speed up. But the mountains look different. These look almost like Bidoofs. And I think they're supposed to be more like wolves. There's our mirror. Right, he talks. Again, I've gotten used to randomizer where you just hit A and he heals you and you can be on your way. Yeah, this looks the same as usual. Other than the tile set. This should just be the back door of the old man's place. Yeah, it's the same cave. I suppose it's possible something's been hidden there, but it seems unlikely. This should be the broken bridge over here. With bomb potential under the rocks. Oh, this looks different. Alright, let's look around over here. There is no broken bridge. That's the bottom of Spike Cave. There's the Dark World warp tile under the rock, presumably. This will be Paradox Cave. Yeah, it's been so long since I played the unmodified game, I don't remember what's in a lot of these chests. Bombs and arrows. I don't remember there being anything really significant here. Well, the crystal switch box look a lot different. Let's try that bomb jump. Not that bad. I could have just dashed through them. That looks like a Mimic Cave there. Our container up there. Turtle Rock access would be over here. And yeah, there's the spike, hammer pegs, and the heavy rock. Same as usual. It's just the mountain is grassy. Yep, hammer pegs there. So you can access the east side of the mountain early, but there's not that much you can do here. Yeah, went too early. Getting a little careless here. And that's just money. Could have sworn it was a heart piece. Of course, they could have changed it too. don't know. Actually, I think it is money normally. I'll take advantage of the free healing. Even if he does try to talk my ear off. That will be the tunnel back down, which probably goes somewhere I can't get to directly from the surface, so worth checking. Spectacle rock. And just the clue inside it. Looks like there's no heart piece. So no point in going there. Yet that is indeed a warp tile. And our bunny looks like... basically the same. The palette looks different, but that's about it. Again, this looks like a cross between the dark world we're familiar with and the light world from this game, where things are basically laid out in the same place. You have the wall between the swamp and mire. And there is actual shore on the south shore, it looks like. But yeah, for the most part, this is basically not that different, at least at a glance. That guy looks different. Looks more identifiably mean, while the orb is clearly crying. Anyway, let's get our heart piece and move on. Let's take a look at Ether Tablet. Yep. Ether Tablet is Ether Tablet. Still don't like the bottle menu. Let's see, no hook shot, so can't Harapot. This area looks double wide. Yep, your mirror emergency escape. This should be, I think this is the compass? No, map. Compass is the one on the higher floor. And on to coffee break room. And I messed that up. And I think I'm not far enough in to be able to get through to the other side. Yeah, the inside area on this is smaller than it would normally be. Still, very easy to just get caught in the block and wait it out while you're invulnerable. Yep, tile pattern is the same. Yeah, that's what I mean about the spin attack having an ongoing hit zone. So you can see there, it tripped the switch 3 times. Always better to mirror out if you can. Yep, graphics are a little different, but otherwise the same. And I was definitely standing too close to the edge. On the other hand, you can knock them in. There's the big key door. These rooms are the same other than graphics. Hit that in case you need hearts. Of course, that assumes the top 4 is the same, but I can't see why it wouldn't be. I could bomb jump to the chest, but it's really more trouble than it's worth as far as I'm concerned. I've never been very good at bomb jumps, and if you miss that one up, you fall, I think, 2 4s. We have some cracked-looking 4s that don't matter. I think they're there in the final game also. They just don't look like that. Okay, so that just leaves Moldor. Yeah, I think I'll go through getting the Master Sword and stop for this session. Okay, this is kind of the same, but there are fewer pots. Yep. Trolldorm as usual. Might be a little fuzzier. The tail looks different too, but mostly the same. And I think it's 6 hits whether you use spin attacks or not. Yeah, Moldorm is not my favorite boss. It's no one's favorite boss. It's much too easy to get knocked off. And getting knocked off, of course, means restarting the battle. And some players are better at reading its movement. That was close. Yeah, and sometimes if you hold your sword out like that, you can kind of fend off the head. Again, the advantage of the spin attack is it gives you better reach. And now we're in a turbo mode. One more hit. Ah. Let's see if the fairy basement's still here. It should be. Just fall a few 4s. And yep, exactly like in the actual game. Which means Harapot would probably work if I had the hook shot, which I don't. Yeah, the knockback on this thing is ridiculous. And you can't really move that fast either. Don't want to fall in there. That takes you down 2 floors. Okay, it looks it takes a little bit for the tail to become vulnerable again. If you have the cape or the cane of Samaria, you can use that to go through the head without taking damage. There, finally. And there's your third pendant. And normally you'd probably save and quit from here to get back to the main area faster. But it looks like the cave back down the mountain goes to a different section from what you can get to otherwise. So I am going to check on that. Okay then, this is not what I was expecting. And you can't even hop into there. So how do you get to that building up there? Possibly just from the Dark World. Which would be an odd change. At least that screen's faster to get through. Just dash straight by and you're gone. Any of these trees have stuff? Besides the birds. Looks like not. It also does not look like you should be able to get in there, but you can. Check the text. Yep, same as usual. Suddenly, Salasra contacts you telepathically. Same Master Sword graphic. Yeah, there's no northeast exit to the woods. And down there was just the mushroom. So, yeah. There doesn't seem to be any way to get to that house northeast of the forest. Also interesting, I'm not seeing any message from Zelda. Normally around this time she'd be going, oh no, the guards are here at Sanctuary. Help! I wanted to go south to get there. Probably following the road will get there fastest. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any way to get to the box there. Except maybe if you warp in for the Dark World. Which would be a bit odd, but we've seen other odd things. Let's see, Agate Tower is probably going to be mostly the same like the other dungeons have been. Or not. Yeah, this is very different already. Interesting. Okay, the guard is irrelevant. You stun them briefly. And these are a different version of the tower guards that hold their swords left-handed, which makes them trickier to deal with. Yeah, this is completely different. The general concept is largely the same, but the details completely different. Is that a teleporter? I was not expecting that. Does the map work in here? Kind of. Yeah, it looks like we have the original Aghanim's Tower map, which does not line up with this. Gotta love the spin attack. Would not want to try this without the lamp. And even in the original game, it's a pain without the lamp. But especially with an unknown layout. Okay, guards are optional again. Probably a button under this spot. Yeah, some of these look similar to rooms in the original tower, but they are different. Yeah, tiles can be a bit finicky about where you're standing. I noticed that a lot in Parallel Worlds also. Okay, but from here on it should play out mostly the same. Height. Slash the curtain. Same arena, this should be trivial. The corners look a bit off. This will be the lightning attack. Yeah. Hitting it back towards the middle of the room tends to make it slightly faster. Because it tends to leave him slightly closer to where he's likely to teleport next. And here we are in the Dark World proper. Sahasrara is going to talk at us for a bit. I'll check down the mountain to see if the heart container piece is there. Actually, no, I think I'll just stop it right after he's done talking. We've got the light world cleared out. We're starting on the Dark World. That's been just about 90 minutes, which was pretty much what I was hoping to do per session, so yeah. See, the background graphic looks a bit different. Parts of it look less polished, other parts look more, perturbed, I guess you'd say, which is appropriate for a Dark World. I kind of like the overall effect. That's the parallaxing effect as usual. Piled on the statues is different. But yeah, otherwise, this is looking pretty much the same here. The rest of the overworld will no doubt be different. But yeah, for now, this has been Arafellin playing a Link to the Proto, a hack of Link to the Past that incorporates prototype assets into whatever ways that Seth thought made sense, apparently. Yeah, they've gotten through the light world. We have the dark world coming up next week, so hope to see you then. Until then, enjoy your weekend.